Ballyhoo and welcome. The Passion Project continues. My name is Remedy Robinson, and this is an appreciation. This is an exploration of linguistics, language, and deceptive complexity as framed by the peerless poetry of the modern day master, Elvis Costello. Today's slow drag is with The Only Flame in Town from Goodbye Cruel World, released in 1984. The songwriting is credited to Elvis Costello. Linguistically speaking, at first blush anyway, The Only Flame in Town seems to be, arguably, one of the more accessible pieces of Mr. Costello's catalog up to that point, and that point being the reported verge of the end of our beloved entertainer's career. Could you imagine? There'd be no King of America, no My Most Beautiful Mistake, no collaboration with Burt Bacharach. Accessible, maybe, but even the title of this piece will go on to reveal the sleight of hand of power dynamics of romance that will go on to permeate each verse. Guilt and revenge never strayed far from these earlier pieces, now did they? Okay, I know that's not strictly true, and by saying it, I'm perpetuating a fairly false narrative, but there's just something so satisfying about the term guilt and revenge. Not only is it uniquely Elvis Costello, it'll always remain abstract enough to apply to anyone or anything in his gorgeous worldscapes. I know a girl, got my mind in a mess. I never heard her say goodnight and God bless. She's not the only flame in town. The last line in this first verse reveals the trickiness of the power dynamics I mentioned. There's a huge gulf between the only and not the only. That one little adverb, not, turns what promised to be a nice tale of romance into something more pouty, more intriguing. This might be more accessible, but it's still an Elvis Costello piece after all. I just love how it nearly instantly contradicts its own title. The alternate lyrics of the second line of this first verse replaces I never heard her say good night and God bless to I'll never hear her say good night and God bless. Such a small change, yet such a huge difference it makes. The final version is aspirational. He's not heard it yet. The alternate line, I'll never hear her, however, is downtrodden, seemingly admitting defeat. One could argue it changes the tenor of the entire piece. And when we're alone, we never quarrel. I'm miles away. Now here's the moral. She's not the only flame in town. Beautifully structured to mirror the first verse. The second verse is also 3 lines, with the first 2 lines rhyming. The phrase miles away has always intrigued me, as has alone, starting with how they never quarrel when they're alone. I love thinking of the syntactic maneuvering that allows the protagonist to either be alone or alone with someone else, thus making the statement that they never quarrel either heartwarming or some sort of a lie of omission, especially when the next line declares how the narrator is miles away, which again provides sharp yet muddled imagery. Figuratively lost in thought or literally in a different place, who's to say? The conclusion, no matter the meaning of the aforementioned, there seems to be hurt feelings. Not that men are apt to use that term exactly. Let's go with a bruised ego for now. You didn't really believe me when I said this piece is accessible, did you? She's not the only flame in town. She's got to stop thinking that I'm carrying this torch around. Repeated in this verse, just so we're clear, she's not the only flame in town. The second line, in the right light, can sound like a temper tantrum, a bit of gossip men share with each other. What a great piece this is. It's yours for the taking, no matter what mood you're in. If all this weren't enough to mull over, it's now time for some of Mr. Costello's patented wordplay. He struck a match and it lit up her face. We should have struck a match, girl, to burn down the whole place. Now you're not the only flame in town. More commingling of the literal and the figurative. The literal light and a figurative love connection that she seems, for the moment, to quite enjoy, as reported by the narrator. Then it's all taken away with the next line. We should have. What a lament. It should have been a great romance, a torrid love affair, to mix in my own metaphor. Rejection, that ego body blow, has now brought us back to the accusation. Yet this time the pronoun has shifted from she to you. You're not the only flame. Remember, the statement was made that when they're alone, they never quarrel. That might not be the case any longer, including both interpretations of the word alone. But you blew hot and cold, turned my heart to a cinder, and with each passing day you're less tender and more tender. Now you're not the only flame in town. With turns of phrases such as you are less tender and more tender, as with so many twists and turns found in so many of Mr. Costello's spectacular pieces, I get the sense that this verse might no longer be a monologue, rather a dialogue where the villain is now responding. A bit rushed and a tad direct for matters of the heart, this verse provides more concrete examples of what could have gone wrong with a relationship, concluding perhaps in a less ego-driven and in a more matter-of-fact fashion. It's just not you. Thought I saw your face in the fire, but it's so hard to remember. Even an inferno can cool down to an ember. Now you're not the only flame. You're not the only flame. You're not the only flame in town. As always, I try not to interpret the meaning so much as admire the words, so I could very easily be wrong by assuming that thought I saw your face in the fire is something said long after a romance is over, when they truly are miles away, and something, forgive the pun, sparks the memory of the remnants of a romance. The inferno sounds almost like a more grandiose, more intense restatement of sorts of the tinder comment, a one-upsman if you'd like, giving me more confidence in assuming that the preceding verse was told from the villain's point of view. I say villain just because it's funny to think of a fiery romance as a battle between good and evil. I get the feeling that this time, now you're not the only flame, is far less vitriolic. I love the repetition of you're not the only flame, but with the mitigated or intensifier you decide of adding what almost feels like a defiant in town at the end. It almost feels like after all this, someone's dating someone else's friend. Oh, wouldn't that be a great sequel? Or maybe it already is. Who's to say? Dig it. Again, this has been a slow drag with The Only Flame in Town from 1984's Goodbye, Cruel World. What do you think is your most listened to Elvis Costello song? I feel like many people might say this one. This and Accidents Will Happen for some strange reason. These slow drags are an absolute joy for so many reasons. For this piece, it was ferreting out that there might be two points of view being portrayed. It's just another great example of the power of linguistics and the joy of doing a sexy slow drag with the wonderful words and work of Mr. Elvis Costello. Other gems from Goodbye Cruel World you'll enjoy a slow drag with are episode 6. Don't let them see you crying that way. That's a slow drag with the lovely Joe Porterhouse. Episode 30, The Bells Take Their Toll. That's a slow drag with Peace in Our Time. Episode 57, Your Affectionate Fingerprints. It's a slow drag with Worthless Thing. Episode 74, Talking Shop. A slow drag with Departee Club. Episode 92, As You Take Your Key. It's a slow drag with Room with No Number. And episode 102, Start Out as Lovers. That's a slow drag with Sour Milk Cow Blues. And that's it for today's slow drag, my friend. Thank you for listening. I'll be back soon with another slow drag. So thank you for helping to get the word out about this little passion project. So until next time, adieu, my little ballyhoo. Slow drag with Remedy.